Blood. Blood is the most commonly used body fluid by most of the higher organisms. Another body fluid is the lymph, which helps in the transport of certain substances. Lymph is a tissue fluid. This blood is a connective tissue which connects different tissues or organs of the body. It consists of living cells and extracellular matrix. The process by which the blood is formed is called as hemopoiesis. Blood is a vascular connective tissue. It is a mobile tissue consisting of fluid matrix, free cells, plasma, and formed elements. The blood transports material from one place to the other, and thereby it establishes connectivity between different body parts. Its pH ranges from 7.35 to 7.45. This blood is slightly alkaline. It also contains plasma, which is straw colored, and it is a viscous fluid, slightly alkaline, and it is aqueous in nature. It constitutes about 55% of the blood. I'm talking about the plasma. 90 to 92% of plasma is water, and 6 to 8% of plasma contains the proteins. It has some of the major proteins like fibrinogen, globulins, and albumins. The plasma is bright yellow in color. It has fibrinogen and other clotting materials. It takes part in blood clotting. Plasma also contains small amount of minerals like sodium, calcium, magnesium, chlorine, potassium, etc. The small amount of glucose, amino acids, lipids are also present in the blood and the blood plasma. It also absorbs, transports, and releases heat. The plasma proteins are as follows. Fibrinogen. It helps in blood clotting as well as hemostasis. Prothrombins. It only helps in blood clotting. Albumins. It maintains the osmotic balance or the osmotic pressure of the blood. Globulins. It is used for defense mechanism and it acts as antibodies and provides immunity. What is hemostasis? Hemostasis is a breakdown of flowing fluid into a semi-solid gel. The blood carries oxygen, carbon dioxide, transported food, hormones, and inorganic components. The blood's temperature is maintained at about 38 degrees Celsius. Hemopoiesis is the process by which the blood is formed. The blood also has a content called as serum. Plasma without a fibrinogen and other clotting elements is called as serum. It is a liquid minus clotting elements. It is pale yellow in color, and serum does not take part in any blood clotting. The blood contains blood cells or the blood corpuscles. They are of three types: RBCs, WBCs, and platelets. Blood corpuscles or the blood cells are the formed elements. They constitute about 40 to 45% of the blood. They have specific gravity of about 1.09. These are slightly heavier than the plasma. Blood cells are first formed in the bone marrow of long bones such as femur. The three types of cellular elements in the blood are red blood corpuscles, white blood cells, and platelets. The red blood corpuscles or the erythrocytes or the RBCs, these are minute circular biconcave discs having no nucleus. When the RBCs are formed, they will have a nucleus. As they get matured, the nucleus disappears. Hence, we call them as corpuscles. They are red in color due to the presence of a red colored pigment called hemoglobin. The nucleus is absent in matured RBCs, as you know. It takes part in immune reactions. The thickness of RBC is 1 to 2 mm, that means 1 to 2 millimeter, and 5 to 5.5 million of cells are present in 1 mm cube of blood. These RBCs are small and flexible, so they can squeeze through the narrow capillaries. RBCs move due to the force from the heartbeat. The lifespan of RBC is about 100 to 120 days. After death of RBCs, they will be digested through spleen. Spleen is the graveyard of RBCs. Sometimes the RBCs gets reduced to half moon shape because of a genetic disorder called as sickle cell anemia. Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is one of the content in RBC. It is an iron containing red pigment which picks up the oxygen at the lungs and lets go of it to all the tissues in the body. It is the carrier of respiratory gases. The function of hemoglobin is to transport oxygen from lungs to all respiring tissues. Then again prepare for carbon dioxide transport from all the respiring tissues again back to the lungs. The diameter of hemoglobin is about 7 to 8 micrometer. Next, white blood cells or the WBCs, or we will also call it as leukocytes. These WBCs are large nucleated colorless cells. The pigments are absent in them. WBCs are larger than the RBCs in size. They are motile and they have a nucleus. Hence, they are nucleated cells. These WBCs are involved in body defense mechanism and they fight against diseases. We will also call WBCs as PMNCs. That means polymorphonuclear corpuscles. The lifespan of overall WBCs is about 13 to 20 days, or it may take about few hours to few days also. The amoeboid or irregular in shape. They are amoeboid or they may be irregular. The diameter of the WBC varies from 8 to 20 micrometer. These WBCs are formed in the bone marrow, lymph nodes, and they are destroyed in liver and bacteria. The WBC produces antibodies and they are involved in phagocytosis, that means engulfing a bacteria. The WBCs can be of two types, granulocytes, agranulocytes. Granulocytes are the cells which have a presence of granules in their cytoplasm. Again, these granulocytes can be divided into three types, eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils. Eosinophils are the WBCs which have a bilobed nucleus and they are non-phagocytic in nature, but they play a very important role in allergy and hypersensitivity reactions, and they correspond to lysosomes, and 2 to 3% of the WBCs are of eosinophils and they have an acidic stain which affects the parasitic worms. Next, basophils. They have a trilobed nucleus and these are also non-phagocytic in nature. They contain heparin, histamine and serotonin. They correspond to mast cells and they constitute about 0 to 1% of WBCs and they have a basic stain which increases the immune response. Neutrophils. Neutrophils have a multi-lobed nucleus and these are phagocytic in nature. And these correspond to macrophages. 60 to 65% of WBCs are of neutrophils and they have a neutral stain. These neutrophils are the most abundant WBCs which attacks against the antigens. Next we'll come to agranulocytes, which means the cells which have or which do not have granules. That means there's an absence of granules in their cytoplasm. These agranulocytes are divided again into two types, lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes have a large rounded nucleus and these are non-phagocytic in nature, but they produce antibodies and 20 to 25% of WBCs constitutes lymphocytes. Monocytes. They have a bean-shaped nucleus and monocytes are phagocytic in nature and they engulf a bacteria and cellular debris. That means the cellular waste products, and 2 to 10% of WBCs are of monocytes. The lymphocytes can be further classified into two types. Lymphocytes exist in two major groups in circulation, that are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Sometimes we'll also refer them as B cells and T cells. B cells, that means bone marrow derived cells. They produce antibodies and immunoglobulins. T cells are the thymus derived cells, that means they are produced from the thymus gland. T cells will also have another type of cells called as T helper cells, which suppresses the microorganisms and they destroy the microbes. The T lymphocytes are responsible for immune responses of the body. Blood platelets or the thrombocytes. We will also call blood platelets as thrombocytes. These are round or oval in shape. Blood platelets are colorless due to the absence of hemoglobin, and they are non-nucleated cells. These blood platelets help in coagulation, that means clotting of blood. These blood platelets are formed in the bone marrow and they are disintegrated within 5 to 9 days. Their lifespan is about 5 to 9 days. The diameter of the blood platelets or the thrombocytes is about 2 to 4 micrometer, and this blood platelets moves due to the force produced from the heart. The blood platelets are the cell fragments that are produced from megakaryocytes. They also help in hemostasis, that means breakdown of flowing fluid into semi-solid gel. I told it earlier. These blood platelets have a factor called as platelet factor 3, which is thromboplastic in nature. Functions of blood. The blood helps in the transport of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, hormones, and other excretory products. And it also helps in regulation of body temperature. They maintain a particular pH. They also help in water balance and they protect us from diseases. Also sometimes, not sometimes, always they help in the clotting of blood. And there is a production of antibodies in the blood whenever cell is attacked. The blood also maintains the fluid balance of tissues. That means the blood regulates the water content of the cell through dissolved sodium ions and proteins. And as I said, the RBCs contains hemoglobin, right? The hemoglobin with carbon dioxide will call them as deoxyhemoglobin, and hemoglobin with oxygen will call them as oxyhemoglobin. So this is a brief account on the components of blood.